Right, this is going to be one of the longer ones. I can't avoid it, lads. Animal nutrition is a big topic, and you can see the volume of questions as well if you look at the amount of past paper questions in that handout. All right. So, off number one, general intro to animal nutrition. All right, guys, let me out, and we're off. Okay, so you can see there. Take a look. They are going to do, we'll talk about them later on, the diagrams of three digestive systems. Dry matter will crop up. Be careful. How are, and that third bullet point, okay, forage, fiber, what's the role of them? What's the, how to contrast? Minerals is often overlooked when people are studying that, guys, okay? How are minerals used to meet dietary requirement? The role of minerals, and that's macro and micro, okay? Be careful on that. So, you could be calcium, but it could also be selenium you could need to talk about. What's there? Calcium's obviously bone, selenium, fertility. I think it'll come up later on. Okay. Two different types of rations. You should know what a maintenance ration is and a production ration, and you should know maybe when they need to be different. Age, work, lactation, pregnancy, all those sort of roles play a thing. Sorry, that's dealt with in the second last bullet point. And then we'll identify feed samples. You'll have to identify the pictures of them. We'll come to that. Okay. So away we go. Awkward. Okay on that. Right. You should be okay on that. Just watch out to me while I get a picture with maize in it. All right. Silage, hay, grass, forage, concentrates. We're fine there. But so forage. Okay. We're fine and all that. Key point to make about grasses, such a huge percentage of grass that is eaten is water, and that'll take us to dry matter. All right, we don't need to think about that. This is where we need to start. Okay, the question you need to be clear on is, well, you need to be able to do calculations on dry matter, and you'll see them in the past papers, the questions that have come up. But again, the bit that often gets overlooked is frequently a two-pointer. What is dry matter and why is it important? Guys, don't answer that second part, why it's important. Okay, it's important. Okay, we know that it's what's remaining after the water has been removed or discounted or whatever. But why knowing it is important is because then you know whether your animal is getting enough energy stroke nutrients that they need. You know what the recommended amounts are, and we'll come to that hopefully in a wee second as well. All right. In fact, there it is in that second bullet point. Cow with a calf could be 15 to 20 kilos a day. High milker, that much. A ewe, 2 kilos a day. 3% of body weight, just an interesting point about that. Right, on we go. Role of roughage and fiber, watch out for it. Okay. Particularly that one that it's actually important for the rumen function, that second bullet point. Okay. So, it balances that, scratches the stomach, develops it. Okay. But the main thing is for humans, it is peristalsis. It moves food on, particularly into the large intestine. Okay. It's interesting that one there. Okay. Concentrates, we're fine at how they're formulated, high energy, high carbohydrates. Okay. A little bit of fiber. That's how you, if you're not meeting production targets or if you're not meeting the energy targets that camel need, you can add in some concentrates. Okay, vitamins and minerals. Vitamins aren't specified in the spec, really. It's all about the minerals, guys. Okay. So there we go. Macros, calcium, you should be all strong on it. Phosphorus. Okay, a couple of those. Just be clear that you've got enough. On the micros, trace amounts only are needed. So for example, why is there's trace ones there. Infertility. So obviously opposite than fertility is that what you may talk about. Calcium for bone development, all right? So just watch out. That's one that's probably due to crop up. Pause there if you want what each of them give, all right? Blah, blah, blah. I don't think there's anything in that. Okay, so I'm out of that. That leads me straight on to the next one, which is the digestive systems, guys. Give me a moment to put this together. I'm trying to kind of keep this going. Where the hell is it? Bingo, we're away. Oh, Brenda, where you? Yep, we're good. Right for you, please. Right. Three types. Ruminant is the cow, monogastric is the pig, avian is the bird. We should be clear enough on that one, guys. Okay. The ruminant system's all about fermenting and digesting grass, which is high in cellulose. Okay, it's the big idea. The cud, this chewing the cud is rumination. What order does it go through? You should be okay. That mouth down the esophagus into the rumen, back up probably to the mouth, and then back down into the reticulum, okay? Or from the rumen to the reticulum sometimes, and then if the reticulum doesn't let it through, it goes back up and is chewed again in the cut. Remember the omasum and the abomasum. So the abomasum is the last one, it's the true stomach, and then you know the story of the small intestine, large intestine. There we go. You can pause there if you want. If you want to check that, you've done a million times. You've done pause there if you want to look at that as well, but you should be fine on the role of the small and large intestine, okay? This is the important one. When you come to the past paper, you will see how that crops up, and frequently it's just a diagram of the four stomach chambers or whatever. So check that out. We're fine on that. You probably don't need it. Monogastric's the same as ours, so if you did the human one in biology, you should be happy enough with this, guys, okay? So pigs don't eat grass. They ain't got no rumen to break it down, all right? So it's very similar to ours. We really don't need to mess up too long. That one, particularly the bottom picture here, guys, is very good. Can't see much more being in it than that. All right. The avian, you'll see this table one now. It's worth noting in particular, and the roles of it. The four key bits. Okay, we'll come to them in a minute, right? So the crop to the proventriculus to the gizzard. Okay, they're the ones, and then out the cloaca at the end. All right. So so the crop's quite high up. It's where it's stored. Okay. Move down to the proventriculus, which is where the chemical digestion begins. Yet it's kind of funny that you would think it would be the other way around, but they're not. The gizzard is the last one. Okay. That's which does the smashing and so on. All right. So you can see there how it goes from the yeah, the one on the left is very good. Esophagus to crop to proventriculus to gizzard. ECPG, I can't think of any. Whatever, it should be OCPG anyway. Small intestine, large intestine, you're fine. Watch out, of course, the cloaca is for feces and urine, which are mixed together. Okay, the cloaca is the sort of a vent. All right, that's it done. Right, I don't think we need to waste any time on the other two areas that were there. You should know them anyway. The one about the two types of rations, production ration and thingy, and then the other thing, I'm forgetting what it was now. Doesn't matter. I'll get out of there. So, past paper questions. I know this one's long, lads, but stick with it. For some of you, it's the only bloody revision you're going to do with this. All right, past papers on nutrition. Here we go. So, we're off. No, we're not off. There was one before. Yeah, we are off. Okay, that's fine. High energy and low fibers concentrates. Low energy and high in fiber. Well, hay is a good example of that, actually. Straw, I suppose, not be straw. The classic one to diagram to label, and then the classic one here, which parts have got, some animals have two, some have others, right? So that's fine. Dry matter question. Sometimes they're nice and easy. But look, guys, there's much about maths. There's yet another labeling one, and the function. So as well as labeling it, what is the function of each of those? All right. More dry matter questions. You're familiar enough with those. You're familiar enough with labeling types of food, types of ration. Okay. Remember, you don't even necessarily, I'm looking at that question, you don't even have to name the type of ration, but you can just name the food that you're giving them. Things that affect nutritional needs there, they've given the species. We've said age, pregnancy, could be two more, work, pig digestive system, and they like that, status function, okay? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, there's another dry matter question. Where are we on to now? We're on to 2018. God, there is so many. You can see the volume of questions that there are on this. Okay, energy from them. Okay, types, name them. The abomasum, remember two other parts of the question. That was a good enough question. Another dry matter, another diagram. All right, we should be okay here. That's all right. We're up to 2022. There we are. Give a function of minerals in animals. So it could be to maintain fertility, bone development. The obvious chief mineral is always calcium. It might crop up there. Yet another one about the avian system. Monogastric system, it's very heavily in this, guys, okay? but they're very gettable. So last year had a dry matter question, more dry matter, more dry matter. So maybe there's a question. There you are. Funny there was. There you are. A mineral and how it meets the sucralose nutritional requirements was the only one. So there was no diagram in last year's, and there was no mix-up question about different types of stomach. But it's the one thing that you can say is it crops up every year. 5, back to 24. I haven't got time to waste here. Uh, but it's a very popular one. 22, 21. There will be no 20, so it'll be 2019, 2018. Stop. Enough. Okay, this has been very long, but it's worth it. Bye. No, sorry, I'm not bye yet. Bye now. Bye.